Hey, Guillermo.
Hello, hello.
Hey, welcome to come back to the episode Guillermo and Lee conversation. So this is about the idea being original. Um, and Guillermo is sharing his story, which is referred to his idea, the epic life. So last time we were in southern France, and after this trip, do you want to share more with us?
Yes, we had to go out of Schengen, this legal space, and the 3 months since I entered the country were expiring. So we need to quickly find an exit, and the closest was Croatia. So from France, we had to hitchhike to Croatia, and then we meet this special person. I think I already talked about this truck driver that was very special character. And then in the end, he brought us himself to the port, Ancona in Italy, and he bought us the tickets to go to Croatia. We just had to choose which city we wanted to go. And there were three
Mhm.
main cities to choose from. We look at the map and we pick up one just randomly. We could go to Zadar, we could go to Split, or to Dubrovnik. And we choose
Mhm.
Split. And there, when I arrived, we went to this night travel on the ferry boat, looking at all these stars. It was really, really epic. I never in my life was in such a situation. Maybe in a mountain, you are stable, and then you are looking at the sky. But here we were in this incredibly big boat, so solid, and then moving through the ocean, and I mean through the sea, and looking the stars. It was really, really special. And I think in the morning we arrived to this port in Croatia, Split, and we intuitively, I think we searched for some green area. There is a big park in Split, like it's a whole hill, and we got lost in this forest, and we
Mhm.
found a spot that was completely out of the way where we could put our tent. And then we had like a little kitchen, and then we disguised the tent so it was not visible from anywhere. And we lived there, I think, almost 1 month. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was 3 weeks, but it was like a really shocking experience. There are some videos that I put online where I have, because my girlfriend was a video maker, but at some point she lost all the videos of that that we shared, and but some of them remain by chance in some hard disk or something. And I have a video of me reading a poem at that time in this forest in the Adriatic Sea,
Mhm.
and I will send you a link later so you can also share it. It's in Spanish, but it's it's okay. You can feel still the moment. And there, like the strategy that we used was that I was going to the city and drawing different parts of the city with Indian ink, and then I will just put my paintings on the street somewhere and sell them. And she was more. I at this point I didn't speak English or French or nothing. I speak only Spanish, and I was trying to get the point of how to talk any other language. And because nobody spoke Spanish there, so it was very traumatic in a way to have no tools to communicate yourself. Uh, but it was, I don't know. This is a very long story of how unable you feel when you don't have a language. We give it for granted because we communicate things and people agree or disagree with us, but we don't experience so often what happens when you cannot even say something. We are not so used to this level of indefension in a way, of vulnerability. And it's really, really extreme. So she was really supporting and playing this role of translator and kind of coaching my cultural shock, for months already. But we were studying a little bit in Croatian, and I was learning as fast as possible English, but we would communicate in Spanish with each other. and she was much more able for her character and for her where she spoke English to go around the city and find possibilities, you know. So she found a cultural place, and she make a bit of a deal for some kind of interview or something like to see if we could do something together. And this person from this cultural center was organizing a carnival festival, and then he wanted that I draw some posters for the carnival, and then we sit in a meeting with him, and then in his office or something in his place, and then I had. He says, I have all these posters here, like old posters from themselves. And then I turn them around, and on the white side, I draw whatever Noemi told me. You know, she was saying like, okay, draw a horse with I don't know something, a person, and then another person with a bell, and then whatever she was saying to me, I was drawing immediately with a pen. And then he was witnessing this creation in the moment, you know, like he was really friendly, and then very happy with the situation. And then they offered to pay something, you know, for this project, and he also needed two flags, like 3 meters per 1 meter 50 or something like that, that it will say the name of the place in their language, and then we have some colors, and he wanted something very Latin American or something. So we work on that for probably 2 weeks or something, you know. We make all these drawings probably in one night. I made all these drawings because she had this very free imagination, and she could come up with ideas constantly, and I could draw them very quickly, you know, basically at least the sketch. And then we bought this paint for metal, and then I paint these images with very strong, shiny metal colors. And then we made this collection of around 20 or 30 posters painted on the back side of the posters that the people have on their own place. And we made an exhibition, I think, of those. And then we stick them around this center because he wanted to promote that they were going to organize the carnival this year. And I also made these huge flags. We were welcome to work on the cultural place. And after a while, he offered us. Yeah, I think it was a whole combo. He offered us because he knew we were living in the tent in the forest, and it was probably October already or something, which here means is almost winter. But because it was the Adriatic Sea, it's a little bit warmer than, let's say, Ljubljana now. Here it's a bit. Here is more continental. There is Adriatic Mediterranean weather. So he gave us. He let us live in his caravan. Then we were living there. The caravan was parked outside this cultural place in the city, and we were working every day in this project, painting the flags and painting the posters. And then at some point, he had a very special character, like very temperamental, and he got angry for some reason. I don't know why. He was very stressed with many other things, and he kind of, I think, got very angry and kicked us out of this caravan. He got one of his attacks of temperament, and I don't know. He didn't like something. I don't remember what was exactly the problem, but we got paid for that as promised, and then underneath his cultural center, there was like an underground cultural center in the same building. And we were already like, when we were painting there, we were also connecting with these people, and then they were also very welcoming and something. And when the guy kicked us out, they host us immediately because they knew that he was a bit complicated and that it was not so surprising that he snapped one day and becomes very angry. You know? So we moved down, and then I live in this underground. There was an underground place that there was like maybe it was a team of 10 people running it, and maybe like a community of maybe 50, 60 people from the city that would come there. You know, constant every day. It was open 24/7, and the crazy thing that was underground. There was no you had zero information about which time of the day it was. There was no way to know if it is the day, the night, the evening. And when you are there, for many hours, it really affects you in some way. And we were like, yes, it didn't make any difference when you wake up and when you go to sleep, because it was always this same atmosphere, and there were like many rooms, and there was a hall, and many different places where you could be for different reasons, you know. So you could spend the whole day or several days without going out, especially because we were not feeling so confident about being outside and everything. So it was easier for us just to be there, you know. And I started, I proposed this community of people that I could paint some mural painting, which was something that I was just happening. I was doing, I have done a few times in Chile, and then they agreed and they got the materials and a very, very big letter. And this was an underground that has probably around 7, 8 meters height, really huge, maybe more. And then I went very wild and then paint a whole mural painting in one area. It was very, very many square meters of paint. It was basically depicting a whole map of the world. And then Noemi has this idea of talking about the silence of the nature expressed by the insects or something. I don't remember exactly how was the concept, but we wrote the word tišina, which means silence. It's a Croatian word, Slavic word, and we wrote it all on top of this world, which was maybe like, I don't know, 6, 7 meters tall and maybe 12 meters long. It was in a corner, so it was very hard to get a good picture of it. But when you were inside, you were completely immersed in this, because I paint the roof and I paint all the walls, and it was, you enter in this world, you know, of all these paintings. And they had a lot of this. All the sea was done with waves. All the surface that would depict the Atlantic Ocean, for example, was covered with waves made one by one, and it was all black and white and gray. So there were a lot of these degrees of color. And because we were studying the language, we were asking constantly, how you say this, how you say that, and I will paint it on the wall. You know, every new word I will paint it, and it will be part of the mural painting. And so it was all the planning for. I will send some photos that you can add to this of these works. And it took months. It took like 2 or 3 months to work. And on the top, it was like a representation of let's say like the divinity, but embodied in mantis. I don't know why we choose it. Maybe we saw one mantis in the park or something, and then we made this mantis, like mantis religiosa gore on the top, and we wrote some text saying like "as above, so below." But it was written in Croatian, actually in Dalmatian dialect of Croatian. And we didn't understand nothing, so we just wrote it exactly as they told us, you know. And we communicate what we wanted to say as much as possible. But who knows? I think it's not exactly the proper translation of that, but it was there. And then this took many months, and then by doing this mural painting and putting words every time I talk with somebody in front of them, we integrated very fast in this community of people, you know, because it was something so out of the blue. Like all these two travelers that come from, she was from French Canada and I was from Argentina. So it was really exotic and very, very motivated. You know, we were willing to do and to participate and to give culture and images, and so everybody was happy with us. And I started having rehearsals with the band there, and well, this was this life. It lasted all this the month in the forest and selling the paintings in the street and being in this doing these posters for this association and living underground for this other association was only 3 months. And then after 3 months, we had to go out of Croatia as well. And one of the days that I was selling paintings in the street, we met a couple of scientists. an old guy. He was probably 60, and his wife was also around 60. And then this guy was a very particular character that became part of my life since then. He had this tendency for big quantities. Franio is his name, and he would always get big quantities of everything around him: books, information, languages, food, friends. Anything is big quantities for him, and he felt pity for the poor people in the market, and then he would buy more, many times more than what he needed, for eating. He would just buy more and more and more for them, and go home with bags and bags of food that will get bad after, and he will throw away eventually or something, because it was impossible to eat that much, And then the wife, who was more rational, she was arguing to him and say, like, "What are you gonna do with all this fish that you bought? Like, you cannot eat this fish, And he said, "We will invite them to eat with us, It's just like that, from nowhere. They were just passing by, and he liked the paintings, and then she started nagging him, and then he came and said, "Do you want to come for a lunch with us?" Because we had too much fish, and then he never crossed a word before, It was just his way, very social person. And then we went with him, and we became very good friends. And actually, after we left, he says that whenever I want to come back, I'm welcome in his home or something. And then maybe it's a nice moment to wrap this episode. We went to Zagreb, which is 5 hours away from the city, and from Zagreb we went to Ljubljana. And we had no idea what is Ljubljana, what is Slovenia, what is Croatia. We didn't have any reference for this. These are new countries, They're all nations, but they are new countries. Before, it used to be Yugoslavia. And then, well, this was the transition, I think, to go to this new. The next chapter, I think I could talk about the arrival in Ljubljana and the
Yeah.
terrible things that happened to us there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is somehow how the travel is evolving. At this point, I didn't talk no French, no English, no Slovenian, no Croatian, only Spanish. But I was starting slowly to conquer all these language areas. And thinking a little bit, just to wrap up, I was thinking like about the idea of being original. It's something like everybody is original, because everybody is like a complete unique combination of different factors that we select through aging. I believe that basically we select the traces of the traits of the character that get some kind of reward in childhood. So then if I dance and people are happy, then I will enhance the integration of dancing in my life more than maybe like breaking windows, let's say. Or who knows what the surroundings about you will feedback positively. And I think we build our personality in this way. The only difference between being original, maybe for the people that belong to this association or this collective that we are building with you, it's more like the person to prioritize this originality in a way that makes it the center of their life, and they try to find a means of living from that in a way. No? You when you because the problem with society is that they demand certain specific traits in order for society to nourish you, basically get a job and be paid for that. So you need
Yeah.
to offer some skill that people need, and then they will pay you. And because people tend to need more or less the same things, you can be this profession or this profession or this other, and then you surrender your uniqueness to a skill or to set of knowledge, and then you are accepted and rewarded in society by how good you are to provide this, which is already defined. How good a history professor you are, how good a musician you are, and it's already established what a musician is, and you just fit in this mold. And originality, in the sense of, I think, the way you are, the type of people that you choose, and why you're attracted to certain characters, because we basically maximize this originality, and we make it that the idea is about being yourself and being paid by that for that, basically. And the proposal would be that through this collective work, we could we could increase more and more this basically being rewarded for who you are as a character, independently of which are the skills or services or professions that you can actually provide to the society. It's basically like we throw from the workshop to the knowledge about certain things to you, and then the work that you Lee invite us to do, it has to do with this, to bring the focus of the consciousness into the you and communicate the self as the source of the value. No? That was just a
Yeah,
thought that I had at the very beginning, and maybe we can close the chapter today
yeah,
in this way.
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is thank you for sharing your idea and your story. So yeah, like being original is the one concept we would like to continue discussing, and there will be other different kind of angles we can talk about next time as well. And we also expect, your story when you first arrive Slovenia. Uh,
Mhm.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you so much, Guillermo.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Lee. See you soon.
thank you. See you next time. And please subscribe and share. Until next time.
Yes, yes. And if you have questions, you can send your questions. We will
Yes.
answer something.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Okay.
Uh,
See you.